In today's video, we are answering the long-debated question, how are Levi's jeans made? I want to go over exactly what goes into making one pair of 501 jeans from start to finish. Since these are made in America, this will be an American factory tour. We will also talk about the differences between how Levi's jeans are made in America versus China, so make sure to stick around for that. I was lucky enough to take a trip out to San Francisco and visit the Levi Strauss factory where they gave me a personal tour and showed me how the magic happens. But before we get going, don't forget to support us by smashing the like button. Also, let me know in the comments if you have any other questions that I can try to answer about Levi's or denim manufacturing in general. But for now, let's get started. The history of Levi's is one that is deeply rooted in America. They were founded in 1853 by Levi Strauss, a German immigrant who came to America with $36,000 in his pocket to open up a dry goods business. I set up shop in San Francisco at the height of the gold rush and soon after partnered with Jacob Davis, a Reno tailor who had been experimenting with work pants for miners that featured copper rivets at points of stress to reinforce the fabric. Together, they would patent this idea and market it as the world's first durable work pants. Today, Levi Strauss is the largest brand within the company and operates much like other big-name brands with their own design and development team, marketing department, etc. But when it comes to manufacturing, they take a little bit of a different approach. Instead of contracting out all of their production to third-party factories overseas, which is the case with most major brands, they actually manufacture a portion of their own products in their own factories. Their flagship facility is located in North Carolina and opened back in 1972. At the time, they built the plant to produce 300,000 pairs of jeans per week. Today, they are still producing right around 300,000 pairs every single week, just spread out over multiple shifts. As for how many jobs this factory employs, it varies quite a bit depending on the season. During slower times, there will be around 1,000 employees working here. But when orders pick up during peak season, they may employ up to 1,800 workers. The entire process of making a pair of jeans can take anywhere from 60 to 90 days, which means that they are constantly trying to keep production flowing throughout the year. So they will typically run 2 or 3 shifts every day, 7 days a week. So let's walk through the entire process step by step. All of the machinery in the factory is computer operated, but there are still plenty of manual processes that require a lot of human intervention. The first stop in the process is the warehouse, where all of the raw materials are stored. This includes things like the looms that will eventually become the jeans, the pockets, rivets, buttons, threads, dyes, finishing chemicals, and so on. It's important to note that these materials are not produced by Levi's. Instead, they source them from various suppliers around the world. For example, the looms come from a supplier in Japan who is the only manufacturer in the world that makes this particular type of denim. The warehouse is very well organized, with all of the materials neatly stacked and labeled. The people responsible for organizing all of this are called planners. Their job is to make sure that there are always enough supplies to keep production running smoothly. Once the materials arrive at the warehouse, they are sent through quality control to check for defects. If everything checks out, they are tagged with a barcode and logged into the system. Each batch of material is given a unique code that allows them to track the quality and consistency of each batch throughout the entire manufacturing process. This way, if there are any problems with a certain batch of product, they know exactly where the problem occurred, so they can correct it. From there, the rolls of loom are taken to the cutting room, where they are unrolled and cut into individual pieces for the jeans. These patterns are designed at the head office in San Francisco and then sent to the factory electronically, where they are loaded into the cutting machines. Once the pattern is loaded into the machine will automatically cut the loom into the correct pieces according to the pattern. These machines use a laser to cut the loom, which is safer than the old method of using a knife, but still requires a lot of skill to operate properly. The laser needs to be calibrated regularly to make sure that it is cutting the loom at the right angle and depth. Once the loom is cut, the pieces are collected and sorted according to their pattern number. From there, they go to the sewing stations, where they are assembled together to make the final product. There are dozens of sewing stations in the factory, each with its own specialized machine for assembling a specific part of the jeans. For example, There are machines that are used to sew the pockets, the waistband, the fly, the cuffs, and so on. Some of these machines are fully automated, while others require a skilled operator. The sewing operators must have a high level of skill and precision, because they are responsible for assembling some of the most critical parts of the jeans, such as the fly and the pockets. The sewing operators are also responsible for inspecting the jeans as they are being assembled to make sure that they meet the high standards of quality that Levi's demands. If anything looks wrong, they will stop the machine and fix the problem before continuing. Each pair of jeans goes through a total of 50 different sewing stations before they are finished. This is why it takes so long to make a pair of jeans. There are so many steps involved in the process. At each station, the jeans are inspected to make sure that everything is looking good. If everything checks out, they move on to the next station. If there are any problems, they are sent back to the beginning of the line to be fixed. When the jeans are finally put together, they go to the washing area where they are washed and prepped for dyeing. This involves removing any excess dye from the fabric and preparing it to accept the new dye color. Next, they are dried and ready for dyeing. The dyeing process is one of the most important steps in making jeans because it is what gives them their iconic blue color. To do this, they are submerged into large vats of water with special dyes that have been specifically engineered to adhere to denim fibers. After the jeans have been dyed, they go to the finishing area where any final steps are completed. This includes things like sanding the edges of the pockets, adding the leather patch, attaching the metal rivets and buttons, trimming any loose threads, giving them a wash to soften the fabric and remove any excess dye, and so on. Finally, once the jeans are completely finished, they are packaged and shipped to the stores. The packaging process involves putting the jeans on hangers, tagging them with a barcode, and putting them in protective plastic. The packaged jeans are then loaded onto pallets and shipped to their final destination. Now, earlier in this video I mentioned that Levi's has its own factory in America, but they also have factories in other countries as well. In fact, most of their products are manufactured overseas, primarily in China. While the factories in China are responsible for producing the majority of Levi's products, the quality control standards are still the same. Levi's has a team of inspectors who visit the factories regularly to make sure that they are meeting the brand's high standards. If the factories are found to be producing jeans that do not meet these standards, they will be shut down until the problems are fixed. Despite these measures, there have still been cases of defective Levi's jeans being sold in stores. This is because even with the best quality control in place, it is still impossible to catch every defect. Sometimes a defective jean will slip through the cracks and end up being sold to a customer. It is worth noting, though, that these cases are relatively rare, and Levi's takes all customer complaints seriously. If a customer finds a defective jean, they will typically offer a full refund or exchange. Overall, the process of making a pair of Levi's jeans is a complex and highly regulated one. From the initial design and development of the product to the final packaging and shipping, every step of the way there are teams of people working to make sure that the final product meets the high standards of quality that the brand has come to be known for. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.